think that's the right button. What do you want? I'm trying to stream here. I'm trying to stream here. You're just all over me for attention. You should know your time for attention. Okay. Here we go. So this is 911. It is a game where you are a dispatcher. Oh, she wants a treat? Okay, I think the only thing around me I can give her is the goldfish I haven't been able to eat because of my teeth. So would you like a handful of goldfish? They still smell good. Here you go. They've just been a minute since I opened them. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Eating it straight out of mommy's hands. You're such a good girl. She ate it straight out of my hands. Okay. The fuck was I? Before Luna showed up and asked for treatsies. Oh yeah, I was gonna start the tutorial. What the fuck? That's a really fucking cool menu layout. Okay, so that's exit. What's this? Ow. That's information that I will not read because that's reading. There is you can track your achievements in here? Ah, that's awesome. Okay, what's this? Oh, that's the credits. That's the credits. Okay. I don't want to look at that yet. I'm not finished with the game. They have a Facebook? That's the options where I fucking turned the music down because as soon as I loaded up, my ears got blasted. Bro, fuck reading. Fuck reading. That's why I am not a 911 operator, and instead I clean fucking...
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, Nick. Obviously, we're gonna do easy. And then we'll go up higher as I do achievements. I have headphones on, yes. How to talk with a 911... Oh, so, fun fact, the people that designed this game, as I was loading in, they had, yes, the bone vibrating ones. That you had to say so fucking weirdly, and then make me say that. Okay, brain. When I was loading in, they showed me other games these people made. These people made Accident. Which is awesome as fuck. Okay, the 4Ws rule. Common questions asked during an emergency call. Where are you? What happened? When did it happen and is it still going on? And who is involved? Possibly, does someone have any weapons? Don't call 911 unnecessarily, Zach. I'm only giving you shit because you said that fucking story. Yes, I did read that. Actually, one of my exes, I'm not with this guy anymore. He called 911 because he lost his wallet and he didn't know what to do. And I kept telling him to call the non-emergency line because your life isn't in danger. You just lost your fucking wallet. Yeah. Yeah, don't be like my ex. Hey Jay, what's up? Yeah, no words to describe how stupid some of the people I've dated are. I mean, that's fair. He also got called by the police about a month later, and they told him that they found his wallet. By the way, all of this shit that's showing up on my screen, even though I'm not fucking reading it, I'm letting it sit there long enough for you guys to read it. Because, well, this is useful information. Also, I kind of know a lot of this. What? I am eating chocolate muffin. You cannot have chocolate. Stop asking. Stop fucking asking. Also, Ryan, I gifted you Turbo. Have you realized that's kicked in yet? I gave you Twitch Turbo so you could stop having ads. Yeah, I gave you a month of it. I was gonna give it to Jack, but he had a free one, so you got it instead. Yeah, you can give people about a month of it. And apparently use your Twitch funds. So, like, if you've been, streaming and you got the money, you can use it, which is what I did. Saw that was an option, so, I gave it to you. Might be able to now that you got a free month. Just make sure you cancel the free month when you're done. Nick, go put your fucking clothes back on before Luna bites your dick. Well, I guess I should say before she hits it with her paw, she doesn't really bite. Oh yeah, Luna. Oh, this is important. I should actually read this. I read it at work all the time, but this has picture. Also, work has more of this. Work has more, well, I mean, it is a hospital. Yeah, stroke is very important for me to know. Because, like I said, I work in a hospital. And if I see somebody having a stroke, I need to immediately go find a nurse. So, how to recognize a stroke. If you suspect someone is having a stroke, use the FAST method. Face. Can the person smile? A part of the face could droop during a stroke. So, like it shows in the picture, one side up, one side down. A stroke basically paralyzes normally about half their body, because it depends on which side of the brain it's happening on. Arms. Can a person raise both arms? One arm could drift downward during a stroke. Speech. Can the person repeat a simple phrase? Understanding or producing speech could be compromised. Time. Call 911 immediately if you observe any of these signs, or if you are me in the middle of a fucking hospital, run to go find the fucking RN. In case of a stroke, prompt medical intervention is of the utmost importance. And there's a reason why anytime there is a stroke, the entire hospital gets a hospital-wide alert that says, medical alert, stroke, location, all personnel that is available, go. And that is how it happens, at least in my hospital. There used to be, there still is some codes that are very convenient and used in other hospitals. For example, Code Gray has been changed in our hospital, but Code Gray used to mean combative patient, a patient that was, escalating behavior and becoming combative. You Code Gray and security would come up. Or Code Silver means someone in the building has a weapon, normally active shooter. So if you hear one of those, they're like, they've changed, obviously, in my hospital. They're now security alert, escalating behavior, or security alert, armed shooter. But they used to be silver and gray. They changed like 2 months after I started working there. It is one of the many signs, but that doesn't mean that it is a complete sign. You need to have these main signs to know for sure, because these are the most likely. Smelling toast doesn't always mean stroke. It is a sign, yes. It is not the sign. Just, for example, like, if you are coughing, that does not mean that you have a cold, or a flu, or COVID, or something like that. Maybe you're just coughing because there's something in your throat. If you completely go everything by one symptom, then you miss all the others. You need to have as many symptoms as you can find as possible to accurately diagnose something. Hey, fuck you! I ain't fucking reading that. I know how to survive a tornado. But none of the houses I'd been in with the tornado had a fucking basement. And why do you want to leave now? You and I have been through tornadoes. Yes, we have. Yes, we have. And you hated it so much. The big, loud, scary siren, mommy picking you up, you massive beast, and dragging you into the bathroom tub because that is the only place we had to hide. Because that house was a piece of shit. And we just fucking hid in the tub. Yeah, we just hid in the tub. And you wanted to get out so bad because you were uncomfortable because it was too big for both of us. Yeah. Yeah. It was too big for both of us. But we had to hide there because we needed to be safe. And the tornado barely missed us. There was rain everywhere. It was a rain-wrapped nighttime tornado and it was terrifying. And that is why Mommy will never go back to the South. Alright, I'm gonna let her up. I got my Grinch pants on. I don't have my Grinch onesie right now. That's in the dryer. Otherwise, I would be wearing that. But I got my Grinch pants on. Alright. earthquake survival. I already know this. I have lived in both Mississippi with tornadoes and California with earthquakes. uh. Oh, hey, seizures. I'll leave that up for people for a minute. I'm not gonna read it because I, know how to deal with it. I had a roommate that had seizures caused by stress. It was quite literally a psychological thing. But he still had seizures caused by stress. I love how we haven't actually started the game. I've just been letting everybody read the fucking, I've been making everybody read, or possibly read, the fucking brain words. Brain, what are the words? The emergency information. There we go. Ah, yes. The Heimlich. I was taught that when I was becoming a CNA. Fucking 12 or 13 years ago. Man, I'm old. I was a trained CNA, which a CNA is a certified nursing assistant. CNAs are almost on the same level as EMTs. They just, they can do more than CNAs can. Just so you know roughly about where they stand. Alright, good night, Purple. Oh, hey, I've had this done on me. Yeah, I have been asked not to go donate blood anymore. Because I always fainted. I would give my blood, and I would either A, faint halfway through, or B, make it all the way through, go to the snack corner, and boop. So I have been politely asked to never donate blood again. Which sucks, because, I was doing good thing, and good thing led to me, boop! So, now even at blood draws, I will sometimes pass the fuck out in the middle of a blood draw, which is why I now have to inform every doctor that does a blood draw that, hey, I have a history of passing the fuck out. Ah, yes, CPR. We have already gone over this in fucking, accident. We can skip. When you find an unconscious person, check for danger. Make sure the area is safe for both you and the unconscious person. Yes, I would. I would do something good and suffer for it. How many times I have passed out and hit the floor because I have done blood donations is a number I will not get into, but it was enough to where I was politely asked to never do it again. And that takes a lot. That takes a lot. We're moving forward. Poisoning! Hi, Joey! We are going through information about, emergency stuff while I am also discussing how things happened to me in those situations. We are talking about how, let me go back to it really quick. The fainting. How I used to faint a lot. Because I would go and donate blood. And I would either faint halfway through, or I would make it through the blood donation, walk over to the, snack table, and fucking... yeah. So we're talking about that. So if you were poisoned, try to get as much information as possible, what the type of poison or chemicals was, when did it happen, how much of the poison was taken, or how much the person weighs. Call 911 or the Poison Control Center. Don't give anything to eat or drink to the poisoned person. Don't try to induce vomiting. However, if the person has vomited, save some of the vomit in a clean container. yeah, we're actually like going through everything because this is 911 Operate. This whole game is to emulate what it is like to be the person that answers the 911 calls and then has to send out the units. And because everybody wants to be accurate, they're giving us as much information as possible, so if we find ourselves in these situations, we know what the fuck to do. And because I am streaming this, I am making you guys learn. I'm taking my time before actually starting. There was a similar game like this called Accident that I also played, where I basically did the same shit. I would be working on a person and like doing first aid on them, and I'd be explaining to people why I'm doing it. Hey Pringles, yes we are alive. Which I also did stream Accident. If you go to my YouTube and find it, you can go watch how I explained all of that there. Every time we do a game like this, I explain, because I am actually part of the emergency response bullshit. I am not a very pivotal part, as people would think, because, you know, there's the EMS, there's the 911 dispatcher, there's firefighters, there's police officers, there's the nurses in the ED, there's the CNAs in the ED. I am in the ED, which is also known as emergency department. For most people who work in hospitals, they call it the ED. Everyone else calls it the ER, the emergency room. I used to be a CNA, which came with CPR certification and a few other things. I let that expire in 2018, so I have not been a CNA for 10 years. Not 10 years yet. 10 years and 2 years. But, as I was saying, I do work in the ED. I don't do anything massive that people would notice me for, but my job is indeed important, and knowing this stuff is also important so I know what to expect in certain situations. I am the EVS in the ED. Well, oh wait, no, I do have water. I thought it was out.
Just redeemed hydrate. Water.
There you go. Continuing on, stop distracting me. I am the EVS in the ED. EVS stands for Environmental Services. We are the hospital's cleaners. We are specifically trained to deal with all the threats that you can deal with in a hospital. This includes cleaning in the MRI department, which thankfully I don't have to do, because after watching Final Destination Bloodlines, MRI scared the shit out of me. But we are trained to do that. We are also trained to use specific chemicals that kill almost all illnesses, including C. diff. The chemical we use smells like vinegar, but it is strong enough to kill C. diff and every other thing. There are some cleaners that are also trained in sterile areas, like the operating rooms. I am not. But, that is something that can be trained to the EVS. There are special floor chemicals we have to clean with. Special precautions for every single room. There are, rooms that are called contact rooms, where if you go into them, it means that somebody either bled everywhere, or they had something on them, like an abscess or pus that kinda, you know, and we gotta go in special gear to clean those. We got airborne rooms, which means there was an airborne disease in that room. So we gotta put on an N95 and go in and clean those. Droplet precaution rooms for people that had, like, the flu or COVID. Put on a normal surgical mask and go in and clean those, so you don't inhale the, you know, everything. And then there's enteric. And enteric, best way I can explain enteric is somebody's shit everywhere. And that's what enteric means. But we are trained to deal with all of those. We're also trained to deal with chemical spills. Because in a hospital, I have cleaned a lot of blood. I'm normally in charge of what my hospital calls the red side of the ED. Because there is technically 4 areas of the ED in my hospital. There's the white side, or triage. There's the red side, which has the trauma rooms. And the trauma rooms are where if you go into a really bad car accident, or if you're coming in with no fucking pulse, you go in there. And then there is yellow side, which deals with more of isolation patients, and then there's the blue side, which deals with more like it's similar to the isolation patients, but they stay longer, and there's a lot more older people over there. I forget the name right now. No, there is not. There is not. Hospital security is very, very tight. I work night shift in Red Side ED. While cleaning rooms, we have a special thing. If you find anything with a patient's name on it, it goes immediately in the HIPAA bin. And the HIPAA bin goes to a specific company that shreds it. Because that stuff can't go out. You have to follow HIPAA. It pertains a little less to me because I don't come in contact with patient information as often as any other workers in the hospital, but I still have to follow it. Alright, I think I've had this up long enough while I explained. First aid burning oil. Oh yeah. I had to deal with that in a fucking, in all my line cook jobs. Moving on. Job of a 911 operator. So, in reality, an operator receives about 150 calls during the duty. Almost 3/4 of these calls are ignorable. Those are empty calls, mistaken calls, unreasonable questions, or pranks, in most cases. Out of all the others, only about 25% actually need an intervention of the emergency units. The most popular incidents are car collisions, domestic violence, loud behavior, and health problems. Although we tried to represent the routine of the operator's job, we decided to change the real proportions of calls in order to make the game more enjoyable. So in other words, the game has more real calls than it would in real life. Panic in a crowd. Yeah, I'm not gonna read that, but I'll leave that sitting there for you guys to read. If it looks important, like super important, I read. If it doesn't look super important, you guys can read. Oh, we got ads. Joey's got ads. Joey needs turbo, guys. Or somebody needs to give Joey a fucking subscription. Looking at the only person here with fucking money. Well, possible money. That's you, Nick. If you have the money. So I think everybody else here is fucking broke. Like, broke. Alright. Next, first aid burns. And we'll leave this up until Joey has some time to read. Or at least look. I was actually trained in first aid burns when I was at my first job. It wasn't actually my first job. I just consider it my first job because the ones when I was not 18 I fucked up at, and I don't count those because I was a young dumb shit. So my first job had me fucking first aid trained. Yeah, Joey knows. I was also first aid trained, and basic life-saving trained, and CNA trained. And I have a lot of fucking emergency service knowledge, which is fucking weird. Alright, electrical shock. I'll leave this up for you guys so you can take a look at it. Basically, if you see somebody getting zapped, don't touch him.